I watched the first video that Dogpack404 did on my last stream. It was basically mostly, it started off with this whole sort of like, this is CGI, that's CGI. It kind of got onto the real shit after that, which was all the lottery stuff. And also I was kind of criticizing him because he was basically just saying, oh yeah, he did this and he did that, but he wasn't really giving much evidence for what he was saying. The way that Rosanna Pansino's like become a massive figure in all of this. Isn't she the cupcake woman? Why is she the Mr. Beast woman now?
Hey guys, so whoa, a lot has happened over the last few days. Dozens of people were injured and thousands of people were denied their basic human rights, all for a Mr. Beast YouTube video. It's giving David Dobrik 2.0, and the sequels are always worse. There's still no update from TikTok.
David Dobrik 2.0, shit.
On why my first video about the Beast games is blocked in every country except for the US.
What?
Also, thousands of comments are being deleted.
Mr. Beast has been deleting all the comments that speak on the situation about him being a fraud. It doesn't matter if you don't space out your comment, they will all be deleted.
Much of Reddit is blocking threads on the topic. This includes his own subreddit that's ran by his staff. Even Twitter deleted a community post about Mr. Beast. And I wanted to read one of the articles that came out this week. This one is from the New York Times. They vetted about a dozen Beast Games contestants and listened to their stories. Many other news outlets have also interviewed and vetted other contestants and crew as well. So I hope that gives you some assurance that these stories are real. Willing to die for Mr. Beast and 5 million. I'm gonna read about half of it because it would probably take me a couple hours to read.
I did read this article. What I got from it is that Mr. Beast has basically got money from Amazon Studios to do. It's supposed to be a sort of endurance thing, from what I understand. He's basically took the endurance aspect of it a little bit too far and not been very clear with the contestants in the show about how bad it's gonna be. Mr. Beast's whole thing has been Squid Games from when he started. Let me make these poor people do these insane things to be able to pay off their student debts. Isn't that fun and entertaining? Squid Games was that, but exaggerated, and then Mr. Beast was like, oh, wow, this was a really popular show, wasn't it? Let me recreate it and get some views.
In the intake process this year, several contestants told the New York Times that they have been asked whether they would be willing to be buried alive or travel to outer space. One contestant recalled being asked if she would be able to swim to shore if thrown overboard from a boat. I understand that such activities may cause me death, illness, or serious bodily injury, including but not limited to exhaustion, dehydration, overexertion, burns, and heat stroke. Read a line in the contract reviewed by the Times that applicants were required to sign. Such language is common.
This is basically your bog standard contract, which is like, do not sue me, whatever happens, even if you die. And people will sign it because they want to be a part of a Mr. Beast video. And that's literally all there is to it. And just to give a little bit of advice as well, if you want to take part in one of these shows, a lot of the time if you sort of go back to them and you say, please can you take out this clause, sometimes they will. With a Mr. Beast production, I assume that if you came back to them and you said, please can you remove this and I sign it, they would have been like, no, because there would have been another fucking 1,000 people behind you in the queue that would have signed it regardless.
Some of the contestants left the competition arena on stretchers. A contestant said, though it was unclear if any of those contestants had faced serious medical conditions. Another described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing to pass out. There were several hospitalizations. So I'm going to stop right here to give a little bit of context. The local hospital that took patients from the Beast Games described it as a pretty chaotic scene.
Overnight Shift said it was insane, not sure if or how many hospital evacs there were. The production is a shit show and unprepared for the scale, making decisions as they go along. The bare bones medic staff on site is not adequate and were overwhelmed last night. This show sounds weird. Why are they only doing the games at night in pitch black? Like, what the hell is going on this show?
In a text message, a spokesperson for Mr. Beast said that the shoot was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike incident, extreme weather, and other unexpected logistical and communication issues. The spokesperson said Mr. Beast had
any excuse. Like, I'm not denying that it was like a major thing that impacted loads of people, but also on the other side of that, you have every single business like, yes, now we have an excuse. Now we can be really lazy and shit and tell our customers that it was because of CrowdStrike and it wasn't our fault. Do you not know that CrowdStrike distributes insulin to people? Did you not realize that?
I don't understand how CrowdStrike caused people to be nearly trampled. I just don't understand how CrowdStrike caused fully grown men to tackle women. And severe weather, spoiler alert, it's Vegas, it's hot. How is that an excuse?
Did they test the women there for XY chromosomes?
Some former employees have spoken out about safety concerns on Mr. Beast's sets, but his vast fan base has continued to see him as fundamentally charitable and well-meaning. Amid allegations about Beast games, as well as recent accusations about inappropriate language used by Mr. Donaldson and a former collaborator, his reputation, as well as his multi-million-dollar YouTube empire are on the line. We signed up for the show, but we didn't sign up for not being fed or watered or treated like human beings, one contestant told The Times.
You didn't sign up to be treated like human beings? I'm being very pedantic right now.
I talked to a bunch of contestants. The contestants that I talked to, many of them were not told that it was going to be 2,000 participants. They were told it was 1,000. They were upset by this. They were also upset because they felt they were misled because they thought they were going to be on the Amazon Prime show, not on a YouTube video. Some of the contestants said that they needed the cash to pay for things like student loans and medical debt, which is the #1 debt in the United States.
It's just awful. Like in the UK, obviously you'd have the student loans. You wouldn't have the medical debt part, which makes it really depressing.
They signed up for this show not because it sounded super, super fun, but because they really needed the money and they wanted a chance to compete for that money to really change their lives. On a few occasions, the production staff passed around small Feastables chocolate bars, a brand created by Mr. Donaldson, and filmed some people eating and praising the candy, contestant said. A psychologist also introduced himself to the competitors at the outset, explaining that health and safety were priorities on set. Several participants were...
Was the psychologist Jordan Peterson by any chance?
What rules, you sons of bitches?
Reached by phone by The Times after the games, that psychologist declined to comment on the event. In what world is one psychologist enough for 2,000 people? One woman said that when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency. And she recalled that a nearby member of the production staff had laughed at the woman's pleading.
To be completely clear, when you're menstruating, you will undoubtedly get a little bit of blood in your pants. And it's disgusting. You're in a situation where you cannot like get clean underwear. It's disgusting.
And yes, it is a medical emergency. It's called toxic shock syndrome.
Like, yeah, you can literally get infections. Living, sleeping in underwear or in a pad or in a tampon that has like old blood in it, blood that's been festering. Yes, you can get bacterial infections. Yeast infections like UTIs, all fucking sorts. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Because you're not allowed to change into a clean pair of underwear. It's disgusting and it's sexist. At the end of the day, it's sexist.
One contestant said she left the stadium bruised and bleeding after being injured and eliminated in the first challenge. She was handed $1,000 in a stack of dollar bills as a consolation prize, but said she had to hand the money back to the producers after the cameras were off. Competitors were told that they would receive real payments later, she said, but as of publication time, she has not yet been paid. One contestant, a self-professed longtime fan of Mr. Donaldson's, who is still in the game, said she was nervous about her safety but planned to continue.
That should be his real YouTube name instead of Mr. Beast. Mr. Donaldson. He would be far less successful if that was his channel name. Let's go with the final bit of the Mr. Beast drama.
Hey, what the hell happened to you? Mr. Beast, that's what happened to me.
What we do here is go back.
First of all, I can't believe this guy's doing a content cop thing. Has he not logged into YouTube since 2016?
I was gonna be somebody. I was gonna be the... Carl took my job. Carl took my job.
Right, alright, bro, cool. Let's go back to iDubbbz when he was in his full-on N-word era.
Content cop from Temu back at it again. So I will just tell you, James, what will be in part 3.
Just do a
so you
diss
don't have
track.
to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes.
Like, I don't think Mr. Beast is ever going to respond to this. He's far too big to respond to this. He's going to be like, whatever, bro. Uploaded the video, 100 million views in 24 hours. Who the fuck cares?
Jake Weddle, everybody.
I'm Jake Weddle. Most people who, if you know me from Mr. Beast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time. And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you know, you were the other half. And I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the working conditions? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you, and they go, "Don't, what are you doing? You're gonna kill your career." It's like, I have to, or I'll be sad.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked?
It's just such bullshit though. Talking shit about Mr. Beast doesn't fucking matter. YouTube doesn't care. Also, why is this guy still dressed like iDubbbz? I've looked at this guy's channel briefly, and he made a video which was basically like, why I left Mr. Beast. It was like the most best performing video on his relatively small channel. He doesn't specifically talk anything bad about Mr. Beast in that video. If he did, I'm sure he would have got fucking loads of views. YouTube doesn't give a shit. They're not gonna suppress a video disparaging Mr. Beast. That doesn't matter to YouTube as a whole when you think about them as a corporation.
And that's one of the reasons why I left, was because I just walked in there and asked for not necessarily a gajillion dollars, but maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. I feel really guilty about the way this shook out. I was talking to this other writer, it's fucked up, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, because you deserve to get paid more. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, because when you grow up with nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did, But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, if that's I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me.
This is an advertisement telling your co-workers your salary.
And they said bet, and they gave me a severance check the next day.
Join a union, guys. All of this video is basically join a union.
I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said bet, and they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance.
I get that that's hard though in a situation where you're basically freelancing. I don't know, for a private company who's making a video. You're not all permanent employees of the same company. It's more difficult in that situation. He just kind of exploits on a one-term basis and then just disposes of them and moves on to the next video.
Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're gonna give me a check and I get to leave? I don't get to deal with the how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day, and I get to go home and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon, and he was devastated.
Did he get someone to put Orbeez up their asshole? What happened?
I said he was wanting to be in the room, and I really regret that. But me and him are really still tight. We're still good friends. If I give this homeless guy $10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy? But I've always thought, if you're gonna do something nice for somebody, and you stick a camera in their face while you do it, that you didn't do a nice thing for somebody. You gained something.
Pinpointing the exact problem that I've had with Mr. Beast for a very long time. What I think we need is a specific word for the type of philanthropist that Mr. Beast is. Philanthropist implies that you're just trying to help people for the sake of helping people. That's not what these people are doing. Billionaires, they set up foundations and they donate to these foundations because they A, get tax breaks from it, and B, they can funnel money into institutions that benefit them. That's not philanthropy. Philanthrophile? Narcissanthropy? Yeah. Philanthropist, plutocratic charity. It's a good way to describe exactly what Mr. Beast does. He's just commercialized this concept. He's never wanted to teach young people concepts and make them learn about the world. All he's ever fucking wanted to do is get kids to worship money. It's because of the cultural reinforcement of capitalism that you don't fucking recognize because you're so baked into this shit. You're so fucking baked into it that you don't even recognize that it's happening.
If you're crying because you're so thankful that you got XYZ, and then you go, oh, I'm so glad he needed it that bad so I could come in and, can you cry more? Oh, it's so good for the camera if you could, it made me uncomfortable that I was working there.
A burden that many creative people have to adhere to is like, if you want to make it big in the creative industry, then you have to suck up to other creative people. And I guess he sort of fell into that. But what you kind of have to think about as a creative person is tagging onto someone just because they have an audience of fucking millions of people doesn't mean that that's a good audience for you in your creative outlet. It's not worth tagging on to Mr. Beast just because he has over 100 million YouTube subscribers if that doesn't translate onto whatever the fuck you want your art to be.
And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, hey, they want you for a video. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like, you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They were like, you're gonna be locked in this room, and we gotta make sure you're on all the time. We're gonna have cameras on you all the time, and you're perfect for this because you never shut the fuck up. On paper, I was like, okay, I can do this, and they always cut me out of the videos. They always, because I was, editors have told.
You know what this reminds me of? We did this. We were doing Mr. Beast before it was cool, guys.
Sleep deprivation has been experimented with.
We literally did a little documentary at the start just showing people how traumatic it is to deprive people of sleep. Okay, cool. Let's do this to real people now.
As it looks weird. Things are going weird.
People think I assume things moving.
I've seen on that pink thing a minute ago. With my eyes.
This is fucking mad.
They had to get a separate tank for septic stuff. There was a hot tub in it. A hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system. Give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. The shower was always cold, and you take a quick shower, and I had cameras 24/7 on me.
That's what they used to do in Big Brother as well, though. But they just wouldn't broadcast their naked bodies. But there would be producers watching them naked in the showers. Like, there was no privacy for them whatsoever, however long that they were in the house. It's madness thinking about it.
One of the things was you got to take away your clock, so you didn't know what time it was. Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock.
Honestly, I think that's quite similar to what the people are going through on the Amazon show. It's not out yet, is it? But the Mr. Beast Amazon Studio show is supposed to be an endurance thing. What I've gathered is that they're not allowing them to sleep properly. Well, they're not giving them clocks, so they don't know how many sleeps they've missed and how many meals they've missed. I feel like Mr. Beast genuinely, he wants to run for president one day. He even tweeted about this, didn't he? That he wants to run for president. And knowing that this is his attitude towards people just makes that even darker. Oh yeah, the shit that he tweeted. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take advice from right-leaning people and left-leaning people. And what I'm gonna do is take advice from both sides. What that's magically going to do is bring the entire country together. Oh, fucking hell.
And I was unwell. I had editors coming up to me saying, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? You're clearly unwell." And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, at least 7 more days? No. They brought it on people I liked and Jimmy. Then everybody was around me making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God. Everyone was looking at me, and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers.
I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
He goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got 100,000 some change, give or take. You know how much money I spent in taxes in 2021? I spent $44,000 in taxes alone.
In America, though, if you earn an unusually large amount one year, and then the next year after you earn the normal amount, does your government not sort of work out, oh, that was like an unusual amount, so we'll level that out in the amount that you have to pay in tax? Because that is what the HMRC does if you're a sole trader. I don't know how it works in the US.
I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called "No does not mean no."
Hey!
Already insane, because it's sort of, it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rap slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads, "When dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans or if any have kids that are fans."
Basically, what this entire clause is saying is exploit the clout that Mr. Beast has. That's all it's saying.
Try talking to their boss. Their boss.
Which is shitty, but that happens. When that's extended to actual contestants in a game, that's really bad.
If all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that when combined dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. I'll show you a real life example. This is unused evidence from part 1. I had seen this Reddit post titled "Mr. Beast Leaving Trash Behind and Debris at Film Site in Aden, North Carolina." Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with Mr. Beast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area. So I actually know that this is from a Mr. Beast video called "Protect the Yacht, Keep It," where at the end of that video he actually says,
"If you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series."
So I decided to send an email out to the camp, basically saying, hey, I heard these rumors, I'm investigating similar incidents. And the camp responded, actually not denying the claims, going on to say, "I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same." So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by Mr. Beast's production team. So in the case of Jake Weddle, like, I'm sure that there were producers who were in a position of, hey, if Jake gets out early, we don't have a video and your job is at risk. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on top of like him being delirious from not sleeping and everything to just manipulate him into staying.
I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that, Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything.
So there was some information about the sex offender there that it looks like they've used the YouTube editor to blur it out for some reason.
Someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it.
You can tell because the edit's really sloppy, because the YouTube editor, after you've uploaded a video, the YouTube editor is really hard to use. So you can tell that they've done that after they uploaded the video.
But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some
I can unblur it, can I? With AI. Enhance!
Great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. He'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails. He'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing?
That's not really concealing his face that much. I feel like I could fully recognize that guy on the street. That's not covering anything.
Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? and that your face can be looked up on a thing, how much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical match? Like, do I have to... Is it more on the nose, or?
Like, how much do you really need to hire a guy if you know that the guy's on the sex offender registry? Guy on sex offender registry and guy not on sex offender registry. Out of that two options, who would you go for? Because I guarantee he had some other applicants for that job who were just as qualified, if not more, you know?
But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently, they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname?
Oh.
Colloquially? Like, yeah, it's Delaware. Don't ask him why, you know? And Jimmy knew about it? The likelihood that he didn't know is astronomically low.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former Mr. Beast employee. Talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the Mr. Beast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record.
Oh, this is the worst jarbled voice. Why did you have to make it sound like that? This sounds like Mr. Blobby fucked a chipmunk. Oh, why did you make it sound like that? I hate it. Exterminate.
Exterminate! Because they're scared of Jimmy, and if you really don't do anything in behalf of damage and testimonials from people, you have to move very quickly because one of those people are going to go back. I've waited a long time to talk about a lot of this publicly, so thank you for doing what you're doing.
So long.
Is that Bo Burnham?
I'll see you when I see.
Why? If you have a similar story, feel free to reach out to me. I love Bo Burnham, but it just seems so overdramatic. It's not that I don't believe this guy, but also he seemed kind of overdramatic in the, Amber Heard as being overdramatic in the Johnny Depp trial, and I feel like that overacting in your defense can make some people look at you as if you're not a real victim. You're just trying to convince people like you're a real victim. But as we all know, trying to read someone's body language is very much influenced by your own biases. I can see that they would probably jump on the fact that they think that he's like acting in this video. Oh, like he's clearly acting, look at him pushing all of these tears out, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, thank you for joining me. It's nearly 3 a.m. and everything I do from this moment on is going to be not good because I'll be too tired to make any sense. I'll see you next time.
Blobby.